Yeah, please move to South Carolina.
Out of office.
I hope you come. You'd be welcome in South
Believe your
Carolina.
daughters, believe your mother, believe your sisters. He
don't know.
lied under oath.
You have
Lindsey,
changed
he lied
so
under
much.
oath.
I mean, you've been
He lied under oath. He didn't drink. He didn't black out. There aren't 40 people you have not interviewed.
And
You're
you
fake
support
FBI
him?
I don't.
Oh, good.
Listen,
I mean, this guy.
I'm a reporter. I cover what's going on the Hill. I just cover what's going on. I'm not trying to.
You've humiliated this guy enough, and there seems to be no bottom for some of you.
If he would say a polygraph, it would all be over, Senator
So
Graham.
why don't we dunk him in
People
water and
ask
see if
for
he
one
floats?
because he-
Did you meet with Senator Dianne Feinstein on August 20th?
I did meet with Senator Feinstein.
Did you know that her staff had already recommended a lawyer to Dr. Ford?
I did not know that.
Did you know that her and her staff had this allegations for over 20 days?
I did not know that at the time.
If you wanted an FBI investigation, you could have come to us. What you want to do is destroy this guy's life, hold this seat open, and hope you win in 2020. You've said that, not me. You've got nothing to apologize for. When you see Sotomayor and Kagan, tell them that Lindsey said hello, because I voted for them. I would never do to them what you've done to this guy. This is the most unethical sham since I've been in politics. And if you really wanted to know the truth, you sure as hell wouldn't have done what you've done to this guy. Are you a gang rapist?
No.
I cannot imagine what you and your family have gone through. Boy, y'all want power. God, I hope you never get it. I hope the American people can see through this sham, that you knew about it and you held it. You had no intention of protecting Dr. Ford. None. She's as much of a victim as you are. God, I hate to say it because these have been my friends. But let me tell you, when it comes to this, you're looking for a fair process. You came to the wrong town at the wrong time, my friend. Do you consider this a job interview?
The advice and consent role is like a job
You
interview.
consider that you've been through a job interview.
I've been through a process of advice and consent under the Constitution. Which
Would you say you've been through hell?
I've been through hell and then some.
This is not a job interview.
Yeah.
This is hell. This is going to destroy the ability of good people to come forward because of this crap. Your high school yearbook. You have interacted with professional women all your life, not one accusation. You're supposed to be Bill Cosby when you're a junior and senior in high school. And all of a sudden you got over it. It's been my understanding that if you drug women and rape them for 2 years in high school, you probably don't stop. Here's my understanding. If you lived a good life, people would recognize it.
It's fine.
No, wait a minute. Whether you like it or not, I really don't care. Here's the point. I have seen what happened to these women in 1998 that came forward. I don't like what the president said last night. I'm the first person to say, I want to hear from Dr. Ford. I thought she was handled respectfully. I thought Kavanaugh was treated like crap. Yeah, well, boo yourself. Here's what I think.
All right. Look, I'm going to ask you to please be respectful of this conversation so we can have the conversation.
That's right.
You.
I have nothing. I really believe that Brett Kavanaugh is not a gang rapist, a sexual predator, or a stumbling, bumbling drunk. I really believe that, and I don't care whether you believe it or not. I believe it because I've known him for 20 years. If the shoe were on the other foot and an accusation came from South Carolina against a male Democratic nominee, and I got a hold of it, and I didn't disclose it to the committee, I waited to leak it to the press against the wishes of the lady from South Carolina, I would be torn apart, and I should be. And if I referred her to a conservative activist lawyer who didn't tell her that the Democrats were willing to come to South Carolina to hear her testimony so she wouldn't have to go through this, I would be destroyed. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. And if a Republican had said, why are you doing this? We're trying to hold the seat open to get past the midterm so we can take power back. The Republican who said that couldn't go 5 feet in this town without having 100 reporters in her face. So the double standard here offends me, and I voted for Sotomayor and Kagan and never thought twice about it. I would never have done to them what's been done to this good man.
Let me just step back.
Well, here's what I think most people will take from this, particularly the Republicans, to be honest with you, that the institutions investigating President Trump took a real blow here. Now, there's nothing in this report about whether or not he colluded with the Russians. He's denied that he has. Haven't seen any evidence of collusion. But that
there's nothing in the report that even gets that.
That's right. That's not what the report's about. But the people that were showing bias against the president also were part of the initial Russian investigation. But you'll be kidding yourself if you think this doesn't do a lot of damage to the institutions that are now looking at the president. This gives a face to many of what the deep state looks like.
But what this report seems to conclude is there's not a deep state, that the overall conclusion was not motivated by bias.
I've been saying there's not a deep state. Then I look at this and I see the people who are conducting an investigation of one political candidate versus the other seem to have a very, not just a political opinion, but a motivation. So that's why we're going to have the hearing.
But the president was wrong, though, in saying that this exonerates him with regard to Russia.
Yeah, I mean, this report, now I'm trying to tell you something that I think is important. This is not the Mueller investigation. Right. They didn't look at whether or not Trump colluded. But what did they find? They found that the people who started the Russian investigation were completely in the tank for Clinton, hated Trump.
Not all of them who started the Russian investigation.
No, not all. I mean,
we're
most
not talking about Bob Mueller.
I'm sure there are a lot of FBI agents who don't share this. But Strzok was in the investigation early on of Russia. Here's the point you got to get. Just back up.
Okay.
The institutions have been crippled.
Crippled?
Absolutely. If you don't believe that the average American is going to think that the FBI is far more political than they ever believed, that's crazy.
So is Christopher Wray all wrong when he says that yesterday that the institution is strong?
I think the institution's got a lot of problems. Look at all the interactions between people in Washington at the FBI and reporters. And, you know, the best way to investigate Washington is not do it from Washington. What have I learned? The FBI's footprint in Washington needs to be reduced. There's too much of a Potomac fever attitude. I'm shocked. I didn't buy into this stuff, that, you know, all these people are out to get Trump. There's enough evidence now to prove to me that the FBI needs to be looked at really closely.